Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. I trust you're all getting along admirably and having a fabulous day. Moving along, we should hop directly into it. The most recent few weeks have been strikingly fascinating in the digital money space. Assuming you've been following or watching the new recordings, much obliged. In the event that you've been taking a gander at the real numbers, you'll realize there was a recording cutoff time for organizations and establishments engaged with cryptographic money. This is significant in light of the particular numbers we'll examine. For the individuals who could have missed it, we've discovered that many banks have been purchasing Bitcoin. Furthermore, we heard from the World Financial Board of Trustees yesterday that 19 national banks have additionally been buying Bitcoin, with distributions surpassing $10 billion. This is exactly the very thing has been revealed, as certain banks decided not to answer. We've likewise seen various huge banks from different nations, as well as various family workplaces, making critical ventures. In spite of these enormous purchasing numbers, an inquiry emerges. For what reason does the market appear to be so uninterested? A long time back, the market would have responded firmly to such news. However, presently it appears individuals are nearly disregarding it. It isn't influential for go about as though this data. In the event that we had heard this sort of information back in 2017, 2018, or 2019, the market reaction would have been immensely unique. Perhaps in 2020, assuming these organizations and enterprises had purchased Bitcoin, the cost would have flooded. Recently, we heard that 19 of the biggest banks presently own more than $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, yet there doesn't appear to be any fervor. It appears to be many individuals are focused exclusively on Bitcoin's cost and disregard other huge turns of events. The arranging of certain sites makes it hard to explore this news. However, yesterday was the cutoff time for venture companies overseeing more than $100 million worth of Bitcoin through trade exchange reserves, ETFs, to uncover their property. The information shows these recently sent-off ETF items are drawing in huge interest from institutional players. Only a couple of days prior, we discovered that in 128 days, Bitcoin spot ETFs in the US collected 580,000 Bitcoin. I don't see the reason why Bitcoin's cost isn't more than $150,000 at this point. Quite a while back, without this degree of institutional interest, the cost hit $70,000. In those days, we had simply gossipy tidbits about organizations entering the market. In 2020 and 2021, we didn't catch wind of 9 organizations buying a portion of 1 million Bitcoin in 128 days. I don't have any idea what's up with the market or why this isn't more far and wide news. For the recent weeks, we've been getting reports about who is on the lookout, with costs plunging, yet this significant data isn't standing out as truly newsworthy. Other YouTube channels are centered around outlines and specialized examination, yet I suppose in the event that more individuals talked about the genuine news, Bitcoin's cost would be where it ought to be. Assuming it required 128 days to gather 580,000 Bitcoin, in an additional 128 days, those 9 organizations will have north of 1 million Bitcoin. How the cost isn't more than $150,000 is impossible for me to understand. This news additionally just records for organizations overseeing more than $100 million in Bitcoin. Assuming an organization is holding $36 million, that actually includes fundamentally across the market. Organizations holding $36 million worth of Bitcoin didn't make the rundown. Indeed, even those holding $99.9 million didn't make it. I can't determine whether individuals are purposely overlooking this information or simply imagining it doesn't make any difference. Think about Peter Schiff, for instance. Notwithstanding his long-standing contempt for Bitcoin, he as of late remarked on gold's cost increment of $200 following 10 years of stagnation, guaranteeing it was beating Bitcoin and that Bitcoin was finished. This is over the top considering Bitcoin's large number of percent expansion beginning around 2009. Gold won't ever see such gains, not in the following 10 years, nor even in the following 1,000 years. For reasons unknown, negative news appears to strongly affect the cryptographic money space than positive turns of events. We're getting substantial numbers every day, showing huge institutional interest in Bitcoin because of divulgence commitments. However, this pivotal data is met with relative quietness. As per information from Fintel, more than 1,500 elements uncovered all-out responsibility for $10.6 billion in Bitcoin ETFs. This news didn't stand out as truly newsworthy, despite the fact that in the event that it had been only one organization, it would have been significant information. Beforehand, when Loyalty and BlackRock collected 457 Bitcoin in a day, more than whatever was mined that day, it was accounted for adversely. It's astounding and disappointing that such certain, critical news is eclipsed by antagonism. The market's needs and center appear to be skewed, not perceiving the extraordinary improvements happening at present. At this moment, of the 10 spot Bitcoin ETFs, Grayscale, BlackRock, Devotion, and ARK21 shares are the top decisions for proficient financial backers. We've seen some confounding news that every one of the banks are claiming Grayscale, notwithstanding its high expenses of 1.5%. By and by, they are as yet purchasing from them. Flexible Investments Goliath 1000 Years The board is driving with $11.97 billion worth of Bitcoin ETF shares, as indicated by a new 13F recording with the U.S. SEC. A tweet features that 1000 Years is the biggest holder of Bitcoin ETF shares, with about $2 billion across 4 ETFs. Out of more than 500 holders, 60% are venture counselors, and 25% are speculative stock investments. These numbers are faltering, yet they haven't made well-known news. Does anybody has any idea why this isn't definitely standing out at merits? Have any of you conversed with your loved ones about the gigantic Bitcoin gathering, the falling government-issued types of money, or how the US dollar has lost the vast majority of its worth against Bitcoin in only 10 years? It appears to be this basic data isn't spreading past our nearby circles. This significant news isn't standing out as truly newsworthy, while unimportant cost developments rule the media. The collection of almost 600,000 Bitcoin by 9 ETF backers in 128 days is astonishing, yet it's considerably more huge when you incorporate Grayscale, which holds around 300,000 Bitcoin. This carries the complete to almost 900,000 Bitcoin in only 128 days. Assuming you've been following my channel beginning around 2016 or 2017, you realize the market would have responded emphatically to such news in those days. I'm concerned the market probably won't respond in any event when these organizations hold 1.5 to 2 million Bitcoin before the year's over. At the point when Bitcoin's cost skyrockets and your loved ones begin requesting that how get some, it will be past the point of no return for some. For what reason are these establishments aggregating such a lot of Bitcoin while costs are low and consideration is somewhere else? Is it true that you are imparting this basic information to other people, or is it just you engrossing it? Do you comprehend the meaning of the world's safe cash imploding just before our eyes? They have zero control over expansion, and we won't see it drop to 1 to 2% for the US dollar once more. The 1,500 organizations possessing more than $100 million each in Bitcoin ETFs, adding up to $10.6 billion, do exclude different organizations or people holding more modest sums. However, this huge aggregation is disregarded by a larger number of people in the crypto local area. Canadian financial monsters like Scotiabank and Toronto Domain Bank have additionally entered the U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF field. They revealed P-constancy. This remembers Scotiabank's $1.57 million property for Bitcoin ETFs. As